welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordes, joined by Superintendent Hime. How are you this
Doing
cold
great.
day?
We are at Halloween away from November, and once again, as we predicted, here comes the weather.
We didn't even make it 2 full weeks with that beautiful weather, just a week and a half, and then boom.
We don't get that in Oklahoma for some reason.
Don't.
All we get is hot or cold.
And we're there.
But we did need the rain. I'm sure a lot of the people needed the rain. Maybe not everyone, but we did. It's always good to get rain, and a lot of people have their weed in and things like that, and so they needed some rain to get it going.
And we're excited that we did have the cold temperatures. We're hoping for sweater weather, but we broke out the winter jackets today. Other than that, we're doing great. We have a lot of things going on.
But first of all, though, we have our FFA officers here today.
Absolutely, and they're here to talk about some amazing things that are going to go on this week. But first, let's have them introduce themselves.
Y'all introduce yourselves.
I'm J.R. Gibson. I'm the reporter for the Lawton FFA.
I'm Cora Sullivan. I'm the chapter president this year.
I'm Larrett Donnell. I'm the Sentinel.
Now, just for some people that are listening, specifically Dr. James, can you tell us what the Sentinel does?
The Sentinel is the one who greets everybody and would typically be stationed by the door.
Awesome.
So exactly where he was when we saw him that day. He had his wonderful Sentinel shirt on, and he was greeting all of our staff for continuous PD. So we do get to work with you guys quite a bit, and excited.
And they helped with some of our child care too, did they not?
They did.
And so big shout out to you guys. That's not what we came to talk about, but I know that it's a service organization first and foremost. You guys do a great job with service, and we appreciate that you're helping out our teachers and staff with our continuous PDs, besides the many other things you do around the community. But we're here to talk about is busy week for you guys. So who's going to start and tell us what all you got going on this week?
So the 5th and 7th graders of LPS this week are very fortunate. Most Oklahoma FFA chapters don't do this, but we like to get other schools involved and get the youth involved so we can have people striving, wanting to do FFA. So this week, Tuesday through Friday, 5th and 7th graders all across elementaries, Central, MacArthur, Eisenhower, are going to come out to the school farm and maintenance barn, and they're going to come out and just learn a little bit about livestock and a little bit about the FFA, if you want to go into detail.
Some things we'll be covering are vet medicine, stick horse rodeo. We'll also have rough stock. We will have an agri-science project for the 7th graders. We'll be having painting pumpkins. They will be using animal ID, ag products, making butter. And this is just some of the things just to get them maybe grasp on what agriculture and the different sides of all the aspects of it can be.
Anything to add there, Larry?
Also, we're having a calf fry. It's going to be this Thursday here at the LRC. It's going to be from 6 to 8 o'clock. We're going to have chicken strips, French fries, beans to go with that. And the meal is whatever donation you would like to make.
Awesome. Now, just to kind of throw it in there, sometimes when you grow up, you think of ag, you think of animals and showing animals and all of that. But a community like Lawton, the vast majority of our students live in town. So what is ag to them?
Sometimes ag is not only just maybe going out and working with animals or making a crop like a wheat crop or anything like that. It can be just knowing where your food comes from, how it gets to the grocery store, how it's produced, because most people don't even know that, certain places like a butcher house, the cattle or any kind of animal has to go from a butcher house then to the grocery store. And they also don't realize the process that it takes just to even like make bread and simple household items they eat every day.
Awesome. Anything else you guys? I heard somebody say vet medicine.
Yes, they will have vet medicine items. So anything from like maybe showing how to doctor an animal or showing how to just simply like a lay of meat. So we'll have a meat slab sitting there, and they can show the different cuts and all that kind of stuff.
So there's a lot more to ag than animals. And the one thing I know is through my years in education is students who take ag or in part of FFA are usually very good speakers, because speech is almost always a part of what you do. And so that's another reason for students to get an FFA. If you ever want to be a public speaker, if you go up to the Capitol, a lot of our legislators were in ag at one time in their career, or they're very, very active in it in that speaking part. So anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, and JR, talk about the reporter side of what you do.
The reporter basically takes care of our Instagram, Facebook, and makes sure that everything's posted out there to get the meetings out. I also take care of taking care of the photos of people showing or just anything going around the school, ag kids having fun. That way, at the banquet at the end of the year, we have photos to put up for a slideshow. So that's pretty much all I do. It's pretty fun, though. It's a lot more work than it sounds, though. It's a lot more.
Well, in addition to the ag days and the calf fry, we also have the winter plant sale, right?
Yeah.
And so tell them with the animals and whatnot and showing there is that horticultural side of it, right?
Yes. So after Ag Days, every kid will get to plant a pot, and they either have the choice to take it home, which most likely most kids will probably not take it home, but they'll stay at the ag farm. And all those plants that those kids have, potted and put together and planted, those will grow, and then we will sell those. That way, we can show those kids that you can make a profit off of these things, and you can show how to be involved in agriculture in different ways.
Big shout out to and one thing what you guys are doing is because a lot of our fifth graders, we always talk, we have about 1,000 students per grade. Many of our students really do not know that, again, ag is more than animals. Although the animals are a huge part of it, there's other reasons to get in ag and be active in the organization other than showing animals. And so that's a big shout out to our program and what they're doing. And again, we appreciate all the service you guys provide and all the things you do for Lawton Public Schools. Another thing about ag we haven't even talked about that our students talk about. How much do y'all like the fact that coming here, you now come together as an organization, which for you freshmen, you really don't know. But Cora, you've been both ways when you're isolated and now you all get to be here. Talk about how that is to our other students coming here and what that's done for the program.
Well, some things just make it hard. I don't, they really haven't experienced it, but whenever I have to go talk to a certain ag teacher, I have a speech coming up, I don't have to drive all the way to Eisenhower just to go talk to my ag teacher about my speech, because the ag teachers do different parts of the industry, right? So whenever we have officer meetings, it just makes one central location the easiest. Everything is it's just kind of split apart, and it's really hard to conquer whenever everybody's split at certain schools.
So awesome. And that's, again,
Well, I was going to say, and what's your favorite part? Because you both are freshmen. We were joking about that, but you're active, very active every time I come out here. You're JR and Cora and Larrett. You're out there doing stuff. So what's your favorite part, guys, of being here with the team?
Yeah, so I think it's amazing because Mr. Pierce is who's over pigs, and I show pigs. So when I'm here with Ms. Wilkinson in Intro to AgCom, which is very new to me because I never thought I could memorize a speech. I'm still working on it, but I'll get there eventually. So it's a little bit easier getting to talk to my ag teacher about my pig and the vet part of my pig and how it's walking and how it's eating. That way I don't have to just wait till he's here and I have to come over, and it's just a lot more of a process if he's not here. So it's a little bit nicer being able to just walk across down the hallway to him and talk to him.
And you have an ag mech shop right outside.
That's what I'm super excited about.
Leaving that out.
Go ahead and tell us what you think about that.
I think it's going to be a really good deal for people that just want to learn a trade, for more of the kids that aren't so focused in college but would still like to have a good paying option. I feel like there's a lot to offer there, and I'm really excited about it.
And you've gotten to watch the whole process because we can hear it outside while we're doing the podcast.
It went up
right?
super fast.
One thing we don't talk about enough that you guys, you give them a shout out for us and remind people, when we started that, one of the things that got it started for us is we got a really hefty donation from the McMahon Foundation. So if you guys know anybody, we want to give a shout out to the McMahon Foundation. Those people will be excited to know just the look on your face, that's going to be worth it to them. So we appreciate y'all and everything you do. And again, another shout out to the McMahon Foundation and those on that board for that donation, because as you can see, our students are going to use that. And even in the district, some of our plans in workforce development that we talk about kind of rolling into the rest of our podcast is to not only, although ag will have first choice, kind of like athletic, kind of like football, maybe during football with the turf, but that doesn't mean that other students in some of our TAP programs and some of those students can't have access to that shop at hours when ag kids are in English or other classes. So we're excited about that being an ag first building, but also the multi-purpose, because students can learn trades and things.
It's going to be great, and I know Larry can't wait to get in there. He'll be the first one. We'll make sure you're at the ribbon
Yeah, make sure you get a ribbon cutting and get his picture, yeah.
That's it. Well, thank you all for coming and sharing about what's happening in the ag program right now. I know we'll see you on the show later on in the school year because the spring plant sale will be coming up
all
and so
kinds of
many
stuff.
more other things. So Thank you again.
And we
all
know
of you.
Cora, as the president, is busy. We just need to add to it.
Add her name, that's it. And she's got 2 up-and-coming freshmen.
Winter weather.
That's it.
This
Let's go
showed
on.
up. We talked about it at the first couple things. One, just a reminder to our parents. We say this all the day. If you don't feel safe, we like to have school. We like to feed kids. We like to keep our routine. So if for whatever reason, where you live or your location, you don't feel safe getting out, let your school know. We have that DVAP option now, and don't bring your child to school. We want to, though, we're going to try to have school because our ultimate goal is if we don't have school, we get that out by 6 or 7 at night so our parents know. So understand that, we always have that option for you as a parent.
Absolutely. And they need to make sure that your information is updated because we do share it, but our
Yes.
first way of doing it is directly through our mass notification system.
Yes.
And-
And then the second thing on winter weather is we have so many organizations, because I know this happens. I had kids, always things aren't great. It got cold, you go pull out coats, and they're way up to here. They're coming up to here, and your kids are growing so fast. So if they don't have coats, get a hold of the principal of your building or other people. I know our foundation works hard to make sure everybody has coats, and we have various other groups that do that. I think every building has someone that takes care of them. This year, Burlington Coat Factory, everybody made me fun of them because they became a sponsor of one of our schools because somebody said, they do sell more than coats.
Yes,
But this time of year, it's exciting to know. But again, make sure your child has a coat and plenty of warm clothing. We'll work with that for you too.
And they can let them know because we even have some that do scarves and gloves. We always
Yes.
have people reach out to us. So thank you for the community members that are continuing to do that for us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Now let's talk about some other great events that are coming up. It's happening quickly next week. Well, actually this weekend, Daddy-Daughter Dance, the Hats and Heels. It's going to be a huge event.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. That's here at the LRC, correct?
Correct, and tickets are available online. And what we can also say too is that we're going to have our students doing photos. So when they come in, the photo pass that's available, the photos will be, I believe, $10 for the whole packet, but there's tons of things and our kids are working and it'll be great
even
memories.
if you're like me and really dancing is not the greatest thing, not one of my skill sets, come up with your daughter, get a photo, do some activities, and maybe one dance with a photo or something. But please join in.
And it's even available to the granddads. We've
There
seen
you
that
go.
out there too. The other thing we have coming up next week is Veterans Day. And it's
Yes.
a big deal in our community. We are requesting our staff members, if they haven't already sent in photos, we like to
Yes.
do that. We have an overall, but even our schools are having
Yeah,
programs.
just a reminder, Veterans Day falls on a Saturday this year. The last, 4 years, since I've been here, and somebody created it before, we created Veterans Day as a holiday. So if I'm correct, the 10th is a holiday.
Yes, sir.
It's a holiday, not a
Friday.
remote day.
Right, it's a holiday. No
So
school,
the
no
10th
staff.
is a holiday.
That's right.
And just so people know, because they always ask, well, you're out here, you're out here. The state requires us, no different than they did when I went to school, a set number of days to go to school. Well, by starting a little earlier and finishing in May, one thing it allows us to do is take more breaks as we go, because what research shows is long summers create a summer slide. So what we've done through the years is we've kind of shortened the summer, but that's how we get a week of fall break. And every faculty member likes it. I think most of our students like that week for fall break, but it allows us to take Veterans Day, which again is a great day to take. It allows our veterans and our families to have 3-day weeks and some of those things. So sometimes people say, well, how did you get out that day? Well, we mark the number of days we go, not the days we're not going to go. So it kind of changes that mentality a little bit. But man, November's here. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Again, remember, we take the full week for that. Christmas, it's just
Coming up, and for our staff, the bonus.
Oh,
is
yes.
coming
Shout
November
out to our
15th.
board. We
Yes,
don't
yes.
talk about that enough. But
Yeah.
hey, that check's going to roll in here pretty quick. So we're excited about that.
Thank you to you.
Yes, thank
you
you.
for that. Now, we have a few more events before we say goodbye, but the fall festivals, because of the weather, for
Yep.
some of them, they were rescheduled. So be sure to look at our social media for that. And then we also have anything else that you want
I
to
know
share about?
athletics are wrapping up as far as football goes. Basketball's right around the corner.
Orchestra concert
Orchestra
coming.
concert. I know some of our band and choruses has some all-district stuff. It's just, that webpage, LawtonPS.org. Get on your child's page and see what they got going on. And if you have questions or you don't feel like there's enough information on that page, hey, send it to info@lawtonps.org. If you want somebody on the podcast, we're always looking for people. Sometimes we think, okay, here's our schedule. Oh man, we got to get our FFA kids on here today because they have so much going on. So we get late, but hey, we're always looking because you guys would rather hear from them than me.
And me too, right? I love having our guests.
Oh,
and
yes.
so for that, we're getting ready to wrap up our podcast. We want to thank you guys once again. Be sure to look online to see what's going on, like and subscribe to our social media and YouTube pages. But Mr. Hime, that's all we have.
Thanks
for this
again
week.
to Larrett, Cora, and JR. I'm getting better at names. See, I'm working on
Larrett,
that.
right?
Larrett.
Tell him.
Larrett.
Larrett. Yeah,
Larrett.
Larrett.
Sorry about that. I missed one again. I'm always 2 for
fun.
3. I mean, it's just, sorry, Larrett.
He understands, doesn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
But we're really good. Thank you guys again.
Thanks
Anything
again.
else you want to add before we leave?
Not that I know of.
Okay. You sure? All right. He's still smiling. Mr. Hime, thank
Stay
you
safe.
again. Stay safe, be well, and make positive impacts. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one.